가사들라 그 책좀 도수 되는 말이지 다 책좀 많이 가사들라 아니 콘도스리 도스나 좋아한 이 초리기 말이지 가사들라 초리기 말이지 이 가르치는 그 책좀 마스 님에다 책좀 마스나 아니 간사심 메가와 책이야스
간사심
신다 라는 메가와 책이야스 메가와 차이스한테 누구미도 빼는 라는 님에를 제베이나 아니 간사심다를 라는데 지단 가버지니 도수 간걸로 지금 메가와 책이야스 제산 되기 디스기 있는 디초리 말이스 신다 간사제다 지금 말을 때니 아니 지 간사신 메가와 지도 스티 들고면도 텔레콘도스도 쓰나 디리기 말이스야 디파 가야들이 근데 지디 샤마티 다 신다 다라
then the next part is okay, allow it to be true that the actual nasty words don't hurt me and I shouldn't get angry at the words, but I'm still getting very angry at the person who says them, the person who's connected with those words. That's the person I'm going to get angry at. Now if the person says that that's correct, no, that's incorrect, that the music day siksu maweta dewa kanzo dela trona music was
that to say ku dijate siksu tege siksu la soba to sumbutigi semlan maris lapsarwa
lapsare
ani lülen maris ke cho maris che tamandene lülen semlan mariti ani 간사신 님을 소바 지도를 소바 권이 라라 타야티기 간사신 미가와 책이래 간사 미가와 책이나 이 죽음이도스
so you remember neither does these nasty words hurt the physical part of me, nor do they hurt the mental part of me. One's accepted that. It's been shown. Okay, when somebody shouts at me, the shouting doesn't hurt the physical, it doesn't hurt the mental. That's not the issue. The words are connected with the person, and I'm a person. So the person, that other person, is hurting me. This other person over here. If you say that.
that is our day. Shanda dala megawas. Any chendiam, that is Pakagiarva. Shanda ni chanala ni megawa. Jebadi ni chendiam, cheshala, dala, sour mechina. Chendele new maris. Shen megawa chebati rang chendele new maris. Say shenle new maris. Ne, that is teacher measures. Ni Dala sour mechina, sour said never mechina.
Never mechina.
Chediam, Tishiala, Dala, never mechina, Susula never mechina. And it dani teacher.
Also,
아니 가르치자니 가르치고래 책마와디 메드스 되고 그래 당도 나고 그래 책만해야
so when you hear something, this is the response to that person who's saying those things is hurting me, a different person over here, and the response to that is, now the things which are being said are things which make other people dislike me. That's why I don't like them, because people are saying things about me which when others hear them they will think bad about me and not like me. That's what this verse is referring to here when it says, because others will dislike me. Now, this disliking that you say they're going to have towards me, it then says, be it in this lifetime or the next lifetime, it doesn't hurt me in either or at either of these times. It neither hurts me in this life, nor will it hurt me in a future life. So how come I dislike it because of that? Is that okay?
Tine kondu sasona, mentu sede, kondu sasona, demebe, ani tungi YouTuberis. Ti tungi YouTuber yensa, ani ti tungi YouTuber yensa ni ti mentu ti tungi YouTuber ti rigmaris. Ran megawa cheba tigi chindele pingmari, chimale pingmari. Digana megawa chene kondu sasona, demeba joa chima tungi YouTuberis. Just at the Karasukre, Ricky Maris, the Insan, and Sova Combayana, and Ransi Dele Pingieri, Sechimale Pingieri, the Majeviche, Masuviche, Megawa Chena, and Sindele Megawa Chair Digi, Sindele Pingmari, Sechimale Pingmari.
Megawa, no.
Digala, Kondu Jenny.
So, this last line, why do I not want this? Why do I not want this? What it's talking about is not getting angry, not being upset when this happens. The idea being, in this situation where this is happening, if I don't like what's going on, that means I'm getting upset. By getting upset about what's going on, I don't help myself in this life, and also I don't help myself in other lives. Shen kansa shen rang la magaire, rang shen la magaire. No.
The Yemich everba, Yemich is the make Kungobi, Yemich of a tabuba, then a Yama ran a capuchin in the Yarba.
Yeah.
To Sudan make a cherry. They make a chance on it. Shenda ran a make a cherry, the ran with the Lenin Mari, Sechimalian new Mari. Tanto take you to Jenna server Maguna, Condu Jenna, and Germany, Chikawachima, to make YouTuberis. Just at the circle days,
So it's like this. The situation is one in which there's another person over there, you're together. You know, things are going well between you. Then this person, somebody else, says something, and that person who used to like you doesn't like you anymore because of what was said. Now, because that person who you used to like doesn't like you anymore, that becomes a reason for not liking them. But they're not liking you when they hear these bad things about you. It doesn't hurt you in this life. What's it doing to you in this life? They're not liking you. It's not causing you trouble in this life, and it's not going to cause you trouble in a future life. But if they're not liking you and you now take as a reason to get upset and dislike and hate them and get angry at them, that not cultivating patience will cause you problem in this life and in the next.
Today, Shenda Megawa Chedi Zamba, Rang Marva Chedele, Chimale, Mare Karasena, Rala Megawa Mabuyari, Rala Kabachini Mabuyari. In the Megawa Chevalatini. Ran never came, the Negasu, Megawa Chini, Ran, Silver Consonant. Me, Rala Pendo in Guerra, Ran, any Timache, Shenda Megawa to Jen, Quando Savina. Rana John is. Silver Combayina.
I mean, what does it mean in this situation when this has happened and somebody is, as it were, turned against you and they don't like you, and you know they now don't like you, and they are doing nasty things. They're doing things which are wrong now on account of not liking you, trying to get at you, harming you, and so forth. What does it mean when it says, it doesn't hurt you in this life? There are so many people who don't like one, who are doing things wrong. There are so many who are doing things right. The things they are doing right and doing wrong doesn't have any effect on what's happening to me. What other people's good works and bad works don't have anything to do with me. So that they're doing bad things, it doesn't affect me in this life at all. There's no connection between the two. That's what that means.
Then it a Sanja to change some of them, Jaggy, Shangy, Tigma, Latini, Shemago, Chigis, Jen, Kundu, Major, Servo Committee, Rana Kanye, the Sanja to do some part to me every year.
Yeah.
Mekanya, the Kashajira.
Yeah.
Could sing me and learning. Manual Tagin, Rangi. Sito Malatini, any shame make out you do send Majority, Carissa, Condusa happy, maybe the Condu Saba Combina, Rana Kanye Mambush Wimgrava. Sanja the changes number Kangulo to Nigrava. Megawatching it Kashajre. Didn't I send the learning Marichimal and Maris?
I mean, think of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Those knowing. There's far more who like them than who really have a bad feeling towards them. And those who like them and those who have a bad feeling towards them, it's not really affecting them. So similarly, myself, if I am patient, if I'm forbearing in the face of these things, more people will get to like me, and there will be less who have these nasty feelings towards me. So just from the point of view of sort of majority thinking, there's also the value in patience.
Yeah, I say that didn't matter. Mega genetic government country and the Mega Chevalatini. Rang the never the Pachi Chikitus, Shuman, Ranachi, Yoyar within the Nology La Sobatusu, and Ran Meka Mapuches and a thing, Nology Yatilla Pachi Chikitus. That delay 2 years in a tele. Never Pachi Cheba, Tro and Biriba said, Telena.
So then you kind of push it again. Okay. So that person out there who hates me, who can't stand me, who I really don't like. Okay, I'll leave it if the person doesn't like me and allow that I shouldn't get upset. But that's not the point here. The point is that person is continually disliking me, bad-mouthing me, and so on and so forth, and it's beginning to affect my well-being, my property, and things like that. Now, when that happens, then I don't like them, or then it's right to get angry at them, and that's now a that's the next section. Yeah, that's the next section here. When it harms my stuff, then I should get angry. I don't need to get angry if they just don't like me and this and that and the other. But now I should get, if you say that, the incorrectness of that.
Tambuti, Sabia Tambuti, nearby Nurtu, Jibe, Di Pargella, Troa Miribas. Never Nyebati new to jigri pena, Tati Dinama, Niebe Bache Chebe Cher, Gadi Dita, Menduna, Tari Nieba, Ditorgi, Dibatani, Temperance, Tati Yesa, Nieba di Nieba di Bache Chigis, Jelly Kundus, Sari Maris, the Garres, Nieba di Sendilia G. Sendi Shiva di Senani, never the Jeduli, never the Pena, and the Chile, Luigi Mete, Long Jugi Mete, Yang Mete, Silva, Long Ju into some care Yamara, Shiva di Sena. The Mashi Konduya, Long Ju let them by Yamari, Long Ju Chamber in the Pe, Long Ju Pumba, Pum, and you don't want to do that. Just Longju didn't temple Yamari. Gati Chile, Longju temple some care Yamari. That didn't never dignity, Kondu Sana, Kondu de money. The buddies, people de Rangi, Ledge ever chimneys of the Jenny. Any Joe Chimney, Sinded the Java Chimman to Mandia Jenny in Greece, Lambert Negris. Ranchile. Dipati, dead, running boy. Just any Dipati, any dita Kuni Jena, nearbati, not in Jigubis. Any congregate Dipati and Temper Negris, just a trotted Maresia, that is nearby budget, Kadi, dita Mendunas,
so so that's then the stage of what one's thinking about, that, okay, bad-mouthing me, doesn't like me, no reason to get angry at that, but now it's gone on too long, and what I found is that my property values have gone down, what I'm worth has gone down, all these things that I own are actually now beginning to get affected. Well, that's a different ball game. At that point, the next verse is saying, because it will hinder my worldly gain, even if I do not want this, I shall have to leave my worldly gains behind, and my evil and wrong will remain unmoved. What you're saying is, well, wait a sec. You're saying now's the time to really get upset and angry because it's beginning to really hinder my worth, what I get, what I use. Well, the point is, when you die, you leave absolutely all that you have accumulated, everything that you get to enjoy, all your sort of wealth and so forth, you drop it, you leave it behind, it's gone. And if that's the case, why would somebody beginning to harm something which in its very nature is going to dissipate, or you're going to be separated from it and leave it? Why would that be a reason to get angry? All the more so because even though you leave your your wealth, the stuff you get to use behind, if you aren't patient and you do get angry at that person who's harming your wealth, that anger, that is never lost like your wealth. That anger is something which stays, and in your next life and the lives afterwards, that can have an effect on you. So therefore, it's saying, because if I, it says this verse, as it's translated here, because it's harming my belongings, therefore, I don't like that guy, I'm going to get angry. I should just forsake all these things. It's the anger that's the one that stays with me. So,
어떤 teacher. Ini nyeba se de tin be de service in nyomo chai kes. Sadu samba kalish bi char do sabra. No ju se.
Yeah.
Sa cha tu samba ni na ji. Long jo ga tu sen na che ni. Ya no ju ma ju. Am je de ba. Ya ni chive sen de ga ga to ni ma khia zan ne che. De ba je service in nyomo chai. Kade lonche de senators. Chivetina
There's a lovely little few lines of verse which sum up this whole thing about here's got nyaba, literally the things you get. So this is, what you're worth, so to speak, And it's a lovely verse. It says, I'll translate colloquially, you really bust your butt to get this together, what you own. Then when you own it, you're so stingy about it, you don't want to use it. And then at the end of it, you just lose the lot, So it's really bad stuff, so to speak.
teacher. That 근데 농주세하게 처벌할 텐데 제도는 심하게 지기 이 해야지라 되면은 아니 그 농주대 세대기 치료를 세대기 유치하고서 양장에서 미시지 딱 심한 파 주주 담바 해야매 그래 그러니까 다 되는 수가 공부에는 치면에 해야게 다 취진 거래 수가 지고는 어떻게 가르쳐 그래 수발라서 샘sam블라서 뒤제에는 체디 디기 장칠 말이 체디를 기분 구야래 제 치면에 치면만 봐도 해둬야지 거래 저사 디버디 제 치면을 랭이지 디바다 개와싱이지 세치말 판도니지 뭐 롱디디 도투야 말바 되는 디바디 세치말 능에 들어와 다시 저것 공부에는 아니 진디 롱지를 맞아버지 콘도 공니 롱지를 민의 콘도 제니 롱지 두버샤티는 디바디 케 롱지디 케아 미야마르바 간제다 케아 여버르디 개와디 말이 다치 디디 치마 핀제 삼다야디 그서버고 야디다 샘삼부 야디
So here what it's getting to is an exhortation to cultivate a wholesome attitude, which is to say to be patient, to be forbearing when you see that somebody who dislikes you, their dislike for you is translating out as it's actually even beginning to harm, to be detrimental to the things that are yours to use, your long-term, your property, the things which you have it in your usables, the things that you're allowed to enjoy, your property, let's say. And the reason or what's going on here is a counterbalance or a balance between two things. One, which you as a person get to keep, because the things you use are the things you're keeping, right? The things that you get to keep and the things you don't get to keep. And so it's exhorting us to be patient in the face of somebody who is hurting one's property. It is causing a diminution even in it, loss of it, because if you aren't forbearing, what you keep is the good and the bad that you do. But nobody can keep the things that they own. The things that they own will definitely fall away when they die and find themselves in a new form of life. But the good and the bad that they do, that stays with them. Therefore, it's exhorting us to cultivate patience and not be angry.
다티네 니버디 로베 니버 조바가바스 다 콘주 제니 아니 지 니버를 텐데 중샤버 니버들 로베 소아스기 콘주 온기 아니 니버 중샤버 두스칸가 로베 소아스기
That's
단지 콘주 제니 아니 니버들 콘주 제니 콘주 온구도 샤바게 니 롱주도스 롱주레스 롱주에서 딜라 롱주로 마리스 디미에서다 로베 니바 그바가바 세도 로베 니바 티탄지 콘주 곰네 아니 니바 투샤바 치아르바 그라 로베 소아시 다티 로베 니바
So now the next one, so I got lost it here for a minute. How do I?
D7.
So I can't find it, but here's the point. You've got these things that belong to you. There's the hindrance coming from somebody who doesn't like you. Now, what about then in that state of being angry, where you then get something else that you say, now this belongs to me, but you did it out of hatred or anger. Now, those things got out of hatred or anger actually don't belong to you. That's what's called belongings, lockbits, or bad livelihood. How to say, stuff you get from pursuing a bad livelihood. You know, like if you cheat and so forth. That's called again. What call it? Lockbits or lockbits. Locksusena.
Locksusena.
Distributable employment kind of thing.
Yeah,
there are 5 distributable ways to get your cash kind of thing. It's not that, right? This is yeah. No. So there are 5. Say fraud. What's called? Bad livelihoods. They sometimes
non-virtuous.
No, yeah. So it means you get a job, but you're making money, but it's like a thievery. Say you're living off your thievery. That's loksu, right? That's a bad. How to put it? A bad livelihood, bad way to make your life. So there are 5 of them. That's not being talked about here.
Oh, it's not talking about
that. It's not talking
right
about
livelihood.
Here. When it says here, does it have it in the verse or just in the subject? That's good enough. 55. Supplement what? So here what you mean by the wrong livelihood, okay? The person is, let's say, making a move on something you own because they don't like you. And you get angry at them and you keep your stuff by getting angry back and doing out of anger what you feel you have to do to keep your stuff. That stuff's not really yours anymore because you kept it by bad livelihood. Does it make sense? It's
Yeah.
using the bad livelihood in a secondary way.
Yeah.
The loss of nga nang ne chip marete.
말이
Direche. The young loss of nga nang ne chip kumakuerwa.
디 말이 디 로중나 세티들이 톱지죠. 예배 좋아.
Oh.
사 쇼롱
Yeah.
사지가 다지 칸님부시니 지 톱선의 딜로 주시게 가사세 칸님부시 아니 지 진다다치 단 예배 좋았어. 파 진주 지제 저 전부 지라야 그 삼루 단에 파 친구 지제 진주 지제 저지 예발을 차네 저 딜레이 장지 지라야 삼루 단에 지제서는 예배 좋았어. 예배 파 지제 지 딜레라 지제
Actually, the 5 of these, okay. Tangwade, I'm not got them right, but here's number 3 of the 5, okay. You really want to get something. You sort of think you're maybe monks and nuns or something, but whatever. You really want to get something. So you give a little gift to that person with the hope to get a big one back. So that's one. The second one.
That is called good business.
Yeah. Did song the Keba Kogata? This Sumbache. Nibach and the
가사
one is, there's sponsors around. So you look like you're meditating up a storm. You really are being religious. So you look good for your sponsors so that they'll give you something. That's also one. Kangwade nga Jesu.
나무디
The kala
Give a little fish to get the
네 가사지
the tampeji yore de la
가사
nya chungwala nya chembole. Nya we de check it out.
아들이 얘다 건들이 영향이 제발 이한말 따뜻 근데 잡았다 소리 영향이 잡았지
When you talk about monks and nuns, it really is quite an embarrassment, isn't it? Kala
가사
kala yaboraya la ya. The lost church yorwe travel den so the sonyon jobe kabla ya.
디데야
The ankara.
손님들 봐
No.
다티
Yes.
디 손님 세디 레아디 지 진다기 지 초조베 제도 중대대 뜻도 제니 경도 페리얼 봐
Yeah.
아니 랑기 최주야 뜻 메타 가지 샬라 사야티 탑주제 그냥 메타 내가 뭐야
Yeah.
이 소녀를 패나
응?
네 티 공념내지 말 바제트 보여봐 그래서 소녀를 패리나 잘라녀야 치도 배샤 탑주 좀 말봐
No matter.
네 녀야 제자라 도 말봐
No did it.
다 녀제 잘 상기 알리는 얘기 막 붙여버봐 디 좀 말봐 디 최고 뒤지 되게 돼 아니 공주지야 뒤지 단도 보여봐 아니 젠다기 초조야지 여러분 아니 오늘 상계 좀 됐도 소녀를 패야 돼
No. Just in terms of, the people who've gone forth to homelessness, the Muslims going out begging and so forth, begging for the food. That's a good thing because the people who are actually having to work to get the food made and, they have to sort of get the fire, to cook the food and all those things. All of that work that they're doing is wholesome work because they're doing it in order to give this food away. From the side of the monks and the nuns, they're not going out trying to do business, right? Trying to get something off the person. It's quite different in that sense. They're just going to be able to eat in order to be able to deal with the different negative emotions and so forth. So those going on the round like that is a totally different thing.
No, did ba? That and the Kasaj. Kasasi the Kanyan Buddha Chili, Loya did ba? Any Chuju said it in the Yan Ningula Chan, Ningula Chan, near but the Kudi on the Chan, need the Dutch of the judge. Nam you Dutch of a many. That means it's a Dutch of the judge, the Asia. The Chuju again. Nam you can change it. Tiny but I think I actually Chendar of the
This hypocrisy is it here? Because it will hinder my is it the next one? A wicked life, I think, is what's being talked about here. Anyway, one way or the other, hypocrisy is so you get a religious person, but the truth is they're not really particularly religious at all, you know. But then their sponsors coming over. So they kind of really get into full religious mode and like just throw it out big time. That's hypocrisy, right? They're doing it in order to get things. This notion of nyeba, you know, things that belong to them. That's what's meant by hypocrisy.
So is that one of the five?
The loksongana michikroa. Yeah, yes, that's one of them. And the tamba de kala shima kasa second day. Oh yeah. Sorry, the first one was how can you say flattery? You flatter the person with the thought that if you do that, you're going to get what you get to the thing. Yeah. And the third one is that one I was telling you about, the little fish with the big fish. Oh, yeah. The fourth one is, somebody's giving you something which is rather nice, right? And then maybe it's beginning to run out, or you want more of it. Boy, that was a really lovely thing. It's really you lasted me a long, long time, but they do run out. It's trying to get something again by how to say.
Then you
the person has to, there's no problem with the statements in general, right? It's this person who is being devious, not being wholesome. So it's the sponsor, the benefactor gave something before, right? And then the person saying, "Oh my God, that benefactor was so good to me. They gave me this incredible thing. It was." I mean, it really was just tremendous. But everything runs out kind of slowly, doesn't it? With the hope to get another.
So is that like flattery? Right?
Yeah, it's
like
탕보들은 잡으도와. 탕보들 잡으도와. 대신부시 가사. 캐롬이 약간 쉬부시도 세근치. Right, but the difference is, with the first, you didn't get it yet. With
Oh,
this
yeah.
one, you've had it. And
You
you want,
want to secure the next future.
you want to kind of double your money. Yeah.
But they all good business tactics.
That's all calki in the thing when it trouble. Tashake, someone's having it.
Excellent rebooting.
Trouble. Song the lounge. Yakshire.
他小龙是呢，这个
Cholo.
小了龙吧，这就现在这些，这就现在这个小了，
Oh.
你这拿了涂鸦的，这就等于写的呢。我是等于蛮写的这，这就行了。我这摘一下，这个得要不是来涂一下。
The fifth one is hinting. You know, so you really speak very obliquely. You know, the language you're using is extremely oblique. You're hinting, so the person catches your drift, but you don't say it. Like, oh, I was over in this person's house, and you wouldn't believe this lovely house. Just you know. So these are the.
Yeah, so can you do that with your husband, your spouse? Your family member?
Kunde de chechona. Kunde yorwa. Chance gamne kunde yorwa. Chikone de chene digere ve.
You mean, is it just for monks or nuns or can it be
Ma
just-
yara de karsege de. Rabdu jumbege. Rabdu jumla lapche tamien.
这的，他这个老做的，但的这么的，我们不能做送的。
I'm actually citing this from the Precious Garland of Nagarjuna. He set out what these are.
很多人讲的，我心里在了写的，我不是心被工的。你这，我长期全部讲那样老做的个，但是控制功能，你把集中了，这个老做些什么？
Yeah.
挺难心的，差不全部都这个。
So it's using those as an, I'd say, it's using the language, as it were, metaphorically here. You have really got stirred up now. You are angry. You're going to get something or get it back or whatever it is. And if you get it through anger, it's using it as a metaphor. It would be like you got it in that way,
Oh, I see.
in one of those 5 ways. If you did get it, but you got it through, and and you got it, it would be like you got it. It isn't one of them, but it's using it like metaphorically.
他等的的，
Can you just ask, what if you try to get your money back but you're not angry?
And then kuma shorse,
啊，
kuma shornera, yana michiki, kuchinga yachit, and yar ne, and malavache. And kesi contra machena, yanit surlen tumne digrive.
这个呗，
Kesi take marine tapshi che, contra machena tapshi chen and we surlen digrive.
这个吧。
Yeah,
That's okay.
there's no problem
Okay.
getting your money back.
Just get with a smile.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's tricky.
zoom sheni che.
But it's tricky because you could have a subtle level of anger.
Reni
Subtle resentment. It's very subtle.
Contra yung sigaro at the end.
So you have to have none at all, right?
Yeah. Kuni meva chi gubro.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
啊，今天打你定你信仰那也是的，他这里让信那样，那也是的，信那样，信的可以的，老子说有人错了， 로쪽에 아니 유림부 세대 유림부 대발에 아니 there is 당신이야 이 거기에 다르스는 다니 등이 시야 라이스 신의 거기에 로쪽 유림 설명으로 로쪽에 유림부 네 체림부 되네요 다 매브리스 가르스는 그냥 미티진 신의 가스들이 배제나 야르바 이번 친구도 이런 거 때문이야 제 이런 거 때문이야 뒤지기 뒤봐 맘부서들봐 어디에서지 디나시 로쪽에 선이 개발에 아니 데리랑 신의 딜라와레스
So,
다니 땡니시야 라이 로즈 유리 선미로
Lotus.
다다 유리 내 주장 집에 동네 딩이 다다 로즈 아니 유리 분내 버지네요 시도 동네 명부야 집버리 다다 시내 시외 동네 명부야 유리 분때니 시외 동네 명부야 스타야야 말이지 데이터 디니니 가려야르스는 단다 디시베이나 아니 그 로쪽이 유린도 롱제는 뭐 이해상 로쪽이 유린도 롱제가 제나 예번 너무 용기가 해서 예번도서 용기야 말봐
Lotus.
어디 인상 어떤 단데디 다니 예바 매바 로쪽에 예바 매바 등산이 시양 라이 현在这边예바特别로쪽 때문에 로쪽을 때문에 유령 선도 내용 다다고 유령 부르네 교장 다른 탐제 버네 치치레 동네 딩이 내만대베 치레 탐제 단 치레세는 탐제 버는 로고야 때 집버리 이 결산 가리에서는 로쪽이 유령도 좋았던 다들 로쪽 예반에 봤는데 시원이 로쪽 예반에 봤는데 시원이 그게
So in this next verse, this is 56, thus it is better that I die today than live a long but wicked life. For even if people like me should have a long time, there will always be the suffering of death. In that first two lines, thus it is better that I die today than live a long but wicked life. In there is a translation of the lot of the word, the immoral or bad livelihoods, the five of which have just been explained. So if through having recourse to one of those 5 ways of making my livelihood, if it's either I have to live by having recourse to one of those bad ways of livelihood, or else I unfortunately cannot even look after myself and have to die, it's better that I just face the consequences and die, rather than try to keep myself alive by utilizing those wrong livelihoods. Thus, that is better that I die today than live a long but wicked life. Wicked here in the sense of staying alive by having to use these wrong kinds of livelihood. And the reason is because even if I do keep myself alive by having recourse, taking recourse to these bad ways of getting a livelihood, still the bad action that's involved in doing it, that is really going to last a long time. So even if I last a little bit longer by doing that, what I do, in other words, the unwholesome action, that will last really a long time, and that is the suffering that I will get in my future forms of life. So, the chiwe dunga deni yin sayondu.
어디 집에 두는지 유령도 내내 전들 유령도 내내 신내다 유통도 내내 신내다 치아기 치에 전에 동네 요거야 돼 시단지 집어래서 근데 치에 동네 요야 돼 체령도 내내 다른 치에 동네 용거래요 제 전도 전에 다른 치에 동네 용거래요 집어래서 제 연구 때문에 치에 동네 연구 같다면 제 충주자 제 치에 동네 연구야 이제 개발이야 말이야.
The last line, there will always be the suffering of death. It's not a variable dying of how long you get to live. You can live a long, long time, and when you die, it's the same. You're just dying. You can live a very short time, and when you die, you're just dying. It's difficult regardless. It's not a variable. If you live a long time, you don't get it. And if you live a short time, you do get it. It's there regardless.
아니, 로즈 음주에 예바디 채통도 되네 치료체는 도르고 집어래. 채통도 되네 치료체는 예바디 도르고 집어래. 예바디 치료체는 뱀부터에 케어야 말이야. 이제 주로 노를 주게 주인의 뱀부터에 케어야 말이야. 세림부 땡에 뒤에 치료체는 케어야 말이야. 치료체는 땡에 뒤에 치료체는 케어야 말이야.
In terms of
로즈 때에는 로즈 무슨 소나 네 이거 많이 알아봐. 아니 로즈 매버지 시소는 네
you know, it's saying better that I die today. What it means, indeed, in Tibetan it says easier, but it means better. And here the point is that you, by having a recourse to these 5 bad ways of making a living, you get things. And you get things if you do that. In other words, keep living your life by having recourse to these bad ways of these lotso. If you live a long time and you get things, you have all those things. And if you live a short time, getting things by lotso, by these bad ways of earning a living, you get those things for a short time. The point being, whether you have them for a long life or a short life, you don't keep them. You lose them at the end anyway. And so it would be better, as it says, to just simply die now if the only way you keep going and getting them is by amassing for yourself a lot of unwholesome activity.
탐제 버릇이 차고 그래. 다기 대단 마시네. 자다는데 등에치 이건 넘는 거 보지. 자와는 장에 주지. 맨다는 장에 아자 매발 들었지. 탐제 매발 들었지. 제가 다기 대단 마시네. 탐제 버 치료는 탐제 버릇이. 롱죄다, 예다, 롱죄다, 로스카가 뭘 지금 같은 로그 같은 맛이 그치? 하는 자왔던 문제를 좀 기본 한번 먹었지. 쟤네 집에서는 자와는 게 매번 그랬어. 자와 두수 매번 그래. 매자와 두수 매번 수수 매번 그랬어. 어때 재산 자던 문제 Janji Chitika number no purchase. Lawanam Yami, Metanum Yami, Tajan never you at this dinner she generated.
Yes. There's a,
Chilitina Tamje, only took but cheaper is
there's another few verses which convey the same sentiment in Bodhicharya Avatar, where it says, all of my belongings, all of my family and friends, this body that I've struggled so hard to look after and keep, every one of them I separate from, and all of them finally are utterly never. They all come to nothing. They all become non-existent. The body becomes non-existent. All the friends and the family become non-existent. All the things that I own become non-existent, and I myself become totally non-existent. Death. It's the same sort of feeling here. That why would you do something wrong to try to somehow keep it going if that's built into it?
That's somebody never us. Seva Miri, I never said it. So small on you, those never back.
No.
Never Seva Chiri Maris. That in Miri Betty Chevy.
So now the next one is an example for why it's not correct to have this attachment, do this wrong. That's all.
Oh, that Milam Lojar thing, Dayune, Saber Cuba, Kain dance. She used them Dayune, Saber Cuba, Kain bus. That day, Milam Genegoso, Long Mambu, Karasukura, Long Jula, Long Janet, Deval Long Janet, Long Jay Tidang. Milam Genegoso, did you too much the Deval Long Journey? Long Jubanibuti? Me said to Tamba, Maybe the cheaper is. Milam Nachi, Milam Chinala, Long Mambu, Devala Long Jubachimi Barba. Chila, Milam Na, Lo, and Nimat Karasure, Lo, did you too much the Devala Long Jubami Barba? Ni said to Tamba. The long duty, ni said to Mabot Chibarava. Long duty, ni said to Jesuda Meva. Ni said to Tambatani 7 negus payment of Chibarava. That did the Chibar is Jetati, long duty, Seba, Seati Chibar, Carasana, Chivetena, using to launch and Chivetena. Longitude to some Kevin Maris, longitude to Kawasa Shabati, Yumbri Mishoji, she, Loja, Loj Mabutis, Longula, Longitude, Jumatan, the Lord Tundu Chilla, Longitude, but the Chiletina, Longitude, the languages of Metro, cheaper is at the
So the example that's given here is of a dream that you have, and in that dream you dream a life, or you dream a long period of time, during which period of time you use and have the enjoyments, all of the different experiences, enjoyments, possessions of a life which goes on for a long period of time. And when you wake up, all of those possessions, all of those enjoyments, all of those things that you owned in that life just totally become nothing. They disappear. They no longer have any existence. So like that, when one dies, it's as though one wakes up to the non-existence of all of the situations one was in, the situations one was in one's life, where one had the enjoyments and the use and many different things, and where one owned many different things. Like waking up from a dream and seeing they all don't exist. Similarly, at death, it's as though one wakes up and sees the non-existence of all of those things. And therefore, sever the attachment to them, just like the attachment to those things as one was in the dream enjoying and there was an attachment to them. Similarly, like here, this attachment that one has to them is not correct. One should get away from it.
Milam loja, tenyunes, seba juba kanyi tang stiche. Shenshi yu tam tenyune, milam na. Yu tam tenyune, seba juba kanyi ba, niga. Ni seba juba kanyi ba. Seba teta niga la yang. Ani seba tichene teta niga la yang. Dewa dine chir myongs. Dewa di. 세베체는 라차르스. 대체 체링 치동이랑 치외 되는 데다가 체리와도 체통이 되지. 이부디 데다다르스. 체링 치동 이가야 치외 되는 데다가 세스.
So you take the two verses together then. Suppose someone should awaken from a dream in which he experienced 100 years of happiness. And suppose another should awaken from a dream in which he experienced just one moment of happiness. For both of these people who have awoken, the happiness will never return. Similarly, whether my life has been long or short, at the time of death, it will be finished like that. It is simply like that. So whether one lives and experiences and has the property and so on for a long time or a short time, it really doesn't make any difference. That's the example it's giving here.
That's sebala niebala seba jimiri be judent ta tanji te pedimba. That's niebala jidang nieba lutolong 처리체도 네버 구리아라.
예.
네버 구리아리티 네버라 세바 이체 친구지구야 말이스. 이 메레베 규덴티들이 네버 만보 탑이교르데 유리 되서 대제경 정비 초바 지신도 제모 라바 동벌 루스타 제네 네버 만보 탑네 유리도 되서 네 대화를 제바 있는 양스 치레체는 아니 꾸마기 초바 신도 네 꾸마기 잘라 초바 신도 초바 신도 아니 그렇게 봐 지부 라바를 카세를 소바 로지 치기네 봐 라바 동발 로고 데스 데모 라바 동발 데모스는 지부를 쓰게 하지 그러면 봐 지부 네, 라바 동바 노는 좀 가지지네 제안에 라바 동바지네 아도를 만들 줄 봐. 어디 인산 아니 세발이야 예발이야 세바치 준비를 비켜진들이.
So one definitely needs things in order to be able to live. That's not what is being talked about here. What's being talked about is the what do you call it? That mental state where you're kind of holding on to, grasping on to those things. And what's the fault in that is what's being talked about here. And it says, although I may live happily for a long time through obtaining a great deal of material wealth, I shall go forth empty-handed and destitute, just like having been robbed by a thief. So if one is sort of running after getting things, running after the things which in themselves are not bad, you need things to stay alive and so on, but if you run after them, so attracted to them, so craving them, and that having craved them and got them, you enjoy them for very, very long periods of time, and there they are. It's like you suddenly come home and somebody's totally wiped you out, robbed you. The thieves have been there. And because when you die, you're like utterly penniless, destitute, with nothing in their hands at all, without anything at all. That's how you actually go forth at the time of death. So that's the mistake in, I'd say, in Sabbath, in running after it.
That's the never truva liba kapas. Never the chukubris. Never progress. Never the kabatilla. I never progress at the Kati never swing never yabuchu. And Cherry Butena. Nitty Sonum Chashinas. And the Nebutus. Cherry Butesona, never attended Cherry Butesona. Need the tire cheto. Nebutushi. And then shall no jeta. Sonum so. Cheto. Never into twat, just never two police. Never manner said you to do Jimmy. Keep me never. Jimmy have in any Chine, Serum to the energy. Nebuto Shia, Sonum side to young marriage. Just a teacher, never two police.
Yeah, you got to get out there and work. You got to get out there, look after yourself, get a lot of stuff. Because, you know, when you're nicely placed, that's when you're doing okay, and then you can stop doing the wrong and begin to do the good. So you have to get out there. You really have to get these things, because it's so this is now what's being said. In other words, yeah, but actually you need to get out there, work to get all these things, because when you get these things, as it says here, surely material wealth will enable me to live, and then I shall be able to consume evil and do good, to stop evil and do good. So you have to actually do that, the person now says. So,
The Chutanji, the Kurang Tiriva, never Raya Chito, never the Pachi to just a never Pacha just a tea trouble in Jerva.
no,
Just a Kondu Zani, Ane Karasubre, never to Kondusa, Kondusani never to Shane. Some said, Kondusani, some said, Tibasari is never to Shita, Janet Tibas said, Savage, Sonum Savage, never to see Situa. Mary Bares, Conto Chen, never to what eats. Sonum said to it. Tiba said, Tiba Sagia is, Tiba said, Sabbath Rimaris, Chang Diti, Rimaris, or the Chang Miti, Chang Tibet, Miti, Tibataya Mita, Sonum Saya Miti, Shabanati, Rimari, Conto Jenny. Never to what is in a corner, Jabas and Sunum head my Sunum young. Tiba Pat, Yushan, Tiba to Sergiaris.
So one has to, of course, remember the larger context here, which is that there was this, or these people, or whatever out there, who didn't like one. Maybe they liked you before, but now they don't like you. And not only don't they like you, but their animosity towards you has begun to impact on your life quality, on what you own and what you get to use. And because it's impacting on that, you now, in order to get these things, are doing out of this anger what you need to do, out of this bad mental world, doing what you need to do in order to get what you need. Now, so this person here, where they are saying, if I'm able to live based on having got these things, then I will get rid of the wrong that I will work on myself to get rid of the wrong, and I will make merits. And then it says, you're absolutely upside down here. Actually, what you do by working with that frame of mind in order to get things is actually not getting into a situation where you can amass merit. You're amassing wrongdoing. And you're not actually getting into a situation where you're going to be able to deal with your sort of wrongdoing. Consume. What was it? Consuming. Well, you're not actually consuming or getting rid of the wrongdoing. You're actually accumulating the wrongdoing. So this notion is absolutely back to front. So it says, but if I'm angry on account of it, will not my merit be consumed and even increase?
I have a question. I understand, the second one, and then shall be able to consume evil, meaning amassing, accumulating wrongdoings, and do good. What is good? Is that good?
The couple of dikpas say, sunam cha sengende. The sunam cha sengende. Sunam sa. To what do you call accumulate merits. The sunam sa roa. The inchi ketola inchi yigidea sawaramindu. The ketinye circuna dixe sunam cha shenas. The Condrosene nyaba tapshe che. Ane tapshe che sanayan mise yapshunle tene sunam sagayen sege tunda derwa. I mean, like the person figures, okay, I'm going to really, in this bad state, they're going to get what they need in order to have a decent life, and then they're going to do good. They're going to make merits. Yeah, he's rich at this point, right? That person's worth a lot. They've got a lot from working with that head. Yeah. Yeah. So they figure, you see, at that point they can begin to apply the opponent powers to the wrongdoing that they've done, right? By the four opponent powers for dealing with a purification of wrongdoing. They think that way they can sunam sak, they can do good. And they can make offerings to people. They can be a benefactor. They can do all these things later on once they've yeah.
Kondre bongi ani sa shabagi nyebati ani lochuyimba lochuyin sa digi choba jene choba yapurigi amarba tesa ani choba je ani kusum jene shabatu su kabure karesna kondro chabati usuna mapo kondro keji jigeni karesa Jabatung sabati sunam 저와 좀 제발봐. 제세 디스게리 아니 디 말이시겠다.
So remember that the context here is that analogy, if you will, of the person gets the good life, amasses what they want, what they need, what they use for the good life, out of resentment, anger, hatred, whatever it is which is driving them. And those things which are got with that anger, state of mind, are said to be lotso, like the things which are got from being a hypocrite and from being a flattery and so on and so forth. You know, it said they're not good things to get because, as everybody knows, those ones aren't. And so that's the context here.
그때 단지기 동지 냐마 동지가 콘두세야디 그녀의 바제지 녀의 바제체는 지금도 되게 콘두 제비 제가 아니 콘두 공네 아니 녀가 사샤가 되게 아니 사람 사야다 아니 되게 샤야다 인구마리 에시아데 되게 미셔지다 수수기 녀가 되게 내가 제샤바 녀바다 수수기 지기 추바다 되게 제수는 소남 사야다 디바다 인그리바 되게 단지 좀디 고 콘르치게 되지 콘르치야데 그 녀베 바제지도 이게 녀바 통나 같이 가서는 녀바 토서는 아니 저 사야데 디바자야데 디네 임레스 저랑 녀바디 아니 저 사야데 디바자 인구마리 디바 사야다 소남 냠야레 시게
It's a kind of specific context that one keeps in mind here. Somebody who you've got on very bad terms with now, who you were on good terms with before, and they have begun maybe to take something which was yours, which you see as yours, and you're beginning to get very upset about it, and you're going to get it back, and you are really upset about this situation and this person, and you're saying now, I'm going to get it back, and I'm going to do good with it, and I'm going to be making merits with it. And that's the specific situation that you're talking about. No, if you go in out of anger, motivated by anger, you kind of wade in there and you somehow get it back, and it's all very nasty, but you got it back. And you say, now I'm going to make my... It's just totally back to front. That's not how it works. So it's speaking specifically in that context here.
I
didn't translate something because you also earlier remember that if you do those wrong things and you get angry, like a bodhisattva for 1,000 eons, the amount of merit they make, it totally can destroy it. And it's like those little stories I was just telling you before.
Then you could just Minimumati, similar Nugumari, Lula Nugumaris. Funny, said you did that. Lula men, some men, Kansa did Shame Magawachi, Shame Magawachi, funny. Chiliaris, Chilla. Yati Magawachi. Charan Nugumari, Chidile Pingumari, Karsuri.
Oh.
I said Dile Nugumari, Chichimale Nugumaris, Megawati, Magal, Shame Megawachevati, Charanda. Machine Megawachavati, Susumatuna, Shame Megawachan, Piatan Mabry, Ranugum San Nugumari, Ranyawala Pingumari, 어디 대디 말이지. 근데 진짜 마을을 때네. 심마가 뭐 붙지. 뒤쳐를 때네 아니 라인이 심만 나가 뭐 붙지. 아니 예배야. 롱주되야지. 총주 두고도. 에 바제 지치도 제사 롱주 토바 바제 제가 예사 때 두고였어. 어떻게 이게 아무래 롱주 쓰이지. 야 제발아 니 조리는 말이 롱주 쓰야지. 집에 재밌게 그냥 집어리. 집에 재난 롱주를 그때 롱주는 집에 재난 대한민국 그때 집어리. 탐제 본을 보고야 집어리 쳐서 롱주를 처신해야 말이지. 어때면에 롱주디 중소면 이거 체리 분내서는 nhiệm vụ tôi xin trên cái sẽ giải thế này là suy nghĩ sai thì để tôi cái gì tôi có thì bắt tôi chịu được đó
So,
đó sẽ sáng nữa.
so here you need to keep in mind the whole train of thought that you've been going through for this part of the meditation. You'll remember going back that you started with these nasty things which are being said about me to my face, or which people are saying behind my back, and now it's beginning to be known in inverted commas about me. People are talking in these bad ways about me. Initially, you were thinking, well, they don't hurt, these words, whether I hear them directly or they're spoken out there in society and they're being said. In either way, they don't hurt me if I think about the physical, my body, and they don't hurt my mind either. And then after that, the train of thought was true. They don't hurt it, my physical or my mental, but there's a person out there who's saying them. And that person out there saying them, they say it to others, and their saying it to others doesn't in any way affect my happiness, either in this life or in another life. That's the second part of the train of thought. But then you say, well, that's true. That doesn't really affect me. That's true. But what happens is the person, these things that they're saying in this particular way they're saying it, given my situation in life, is beginning to affect the world that I live in, and it's beginning to affect my ability to make a livelihood and my what I own and how things are going for me. And so it's beginning to affect my launcher, those things. And at that point, one then starts to feel angry about that. And then you bring to mind that all of these things in my life, which make my life go better, which I have the use of, all of those at the time of death, they just are lost. They are totally taken away, not owned at all. They're not something I have, and therefore they're not, in that sense, that's not a reason for me to get angry. And then from there one goes on to this last bit, tamatamade, nyaba kangate shivetse kedogura yomare, tamatamade got tangajeso. What was the last one?
And tamatamatic could Sonum Sayat, Sonum Nivala,
and then the person, so then it goes from there. Yeah, But actually, no, I buy, so how to say, one thinks it's not worth going after them. He said, no, it is worth going after them. Cultivating or at least staying with this upset that I have about this situation that's happened, about this effect that it's having upon my enjoyments, my livelihood, my well-being, because I'm going to go out there to these person or these people, to this person in particular who now doesn't like me and has been saying these bad things. I'm going to get these things back. And even though I will have done wrong to get them, it will give me the opportunity in life to be religious, to use the opponent powers to overcome the wrong that I've done. And that is counteracted by thinking that's totally back to front. What I'm actually doing isn't getting rid of wrong and getting merit that way. I'm actually getting wrong and getting rid of merit. So that's the way this, you might say, meditation pattern goes up to here. So let's leave it there for a bit today.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's some questions arising from this.
Okay, so I understand all the reasoning that, for not getting angry, like, when we die, we're not going to bring anything with us but our karma. But it seems to me like everything, the anger and all the negative feelings all stem from ignorance. Thinking that we are that person, we are that, we are me. So the real solution is not getting rid of the anger. Well, it is, but the real solution is how to get rid of our ignorance.
그래서 계실라 루미체 수미에테 다가라레 롱주바 냐바 칸유베테 시와나 안에 다 개조고 말해 때문에 그래서 공주사나 리마레 얘네 대 공주 대 나오냐베 로데 유베였어 대 공주 용거 좋아 그래서 나오냐베 로데 매버서에게 소데 인스레 공주 딱 매버서데 소그레테 탑셰디스 채나 개침보 민버체 소데 나오냐베 로데라 냠보 채나야 냠보 약실에 상기.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is the best one for sure.
How?
Tadi 공수 소디 간다 체리나.
La.
근데 디 냠보 소데 채나 공수 소디 가리나.
That's it. 동번이.
The 동번이, shunyata, the voidness of it, the non-existence of it, the emptiness of it.
Meditate on emptiness.
Don't you go on there?
Yeah.
I would absolutely cultivate an understanding of that is not there.
Problem is the eons.
Wow.
You take eons to understand
I
everything.
think 가서 동 맞아. 또 배시 곰 가버려야 돼.
아니, 공부를 단단히 공부를 했어.
You have to.
나라도 남산 배지 지하디 가버렸어. 상계중대 되게 깨본 만들어도 출력 공부 나야 했어. 나도 딜레장 아니 담보 출력 빠자샤. 근데 퇴바제, 삼바제, 공바제 이반 지역으로서 수수의 관련된 뜻이 다리 배 대조의 대토 진출제하게 예 중기 폐처와도 상대해봐 상대는 것은 간도진도 제외야 또뭐야 제 가르치네 지역으로서 대장 이제 파파 지자리 다리 동바 친구는 뒤주마디 딜레 동바리 되는 말 동바 다리 지 제외야 상계 좀 되지 제지장에 숨 줬어. 완전 딜레이 장레스.
So it's true that if you think, say, of the Buddha, he amassed good fortune or luck or merits for countless eons. And similarly, we have to do the same. But the fact that one has to do that doesn't mean, therefore, that the time that one has at hand is not one to put to the best use, because one has this perfect human life, these freedoms and endowments.
Can you speak loud?
One has this perfect human life, and with these freedoms and these endowments. And so even though it's true, as with the Buddha, who for countless eons made merits in order to achieve what he achieved, and we do too, this perfect human life that we find being a very lucky, good song, a very good time, is a time to put to good use, and therefore we should first try to understand, and then to listen, to study it, and then to reflect on the meanings that come to us, and then to get habituated to those meanings. And if we don't, then, if this time we waste it, we waste the next time and the next time and the next time. So this is still a time to do what one can on that meditation.
최신이들이 semda tundujen에 두야야 말이었어. semda를 보죠. 제들이 디기래 지 존주제 지 배 마부제고도가 최신이 때문에 체험부터 파제는 염소는 사버리지. 지리에 상버리지 구비하랬어.
This dharma is one in relative to which one should cultivate this attitude. You know how hard one has to work in one's life, right? Well, it's not like that. It's, I have to work at this for an incredibly long period of time, lifetime after lifetime. And that's the attitude one which you should cultivate towards one's Dharma practice. It's something that I'm going to be doing for a really, really, really a long, long time.
동반이 다 저버디 수능 시우 사발을 때는 총수게. 저상은 수능 배야 사발이 진짜 동반이 지금 검야다 동반이 삼로 동야다 동반이 있어야 되는데 지금 제지지하게 지지 중얼 봐. 동반이 땅 출발에 수능만 부사고 이제.
Just to be listening to a talk in which emptiness comes up as a topic means, or is dependent upon, one having amassed a great deal of good merit before. Just to find oneself in a situation where it comes up as a topic is the outcome of bringing a great deal of good luck or merit into the situation at hand.
근데 이 로게티비 배 삼루티 단단히 배 마시버도 배 야불 내야기 치도 배 소급시라 지게라 디 나신데 디나신 저 친구들이 된다 단도군에 배치 거야 돼 최를 배치 되게 되네 저 친구들 좋았으면 저 친구들이 개치고 싶어요. 좋았으면 이해가 타죠. 나도 개개부터 돼야지 이대야 말이지. 계약을 배치도 배 단단히 처리제니 주소지. 개개부터 돼야겠지. 처시를 되지 직직이야로. 이사다 이 개개부터 들어오면 하고야 말. 설명해봐야 말봐. 이니야 저 참았어야도 물기때 다 내버려. 어디 삼루단이 지기 샘삼부 공부에 들어가다 샘삼부세에 치면 나가 들어가.
to, your 401s or the, looking after, getting it together for one's old age, right? One really thinks a lot about getting it together for one's old age, right? Really doing a lot, getting it together for one's old age, right? The point is, in a Dharma way, especially as you get older, you're thinking, I'm really sort of stacking up my 401k for my next life, the next form of life that I'm going to be in. And so you have a long, your how do you put it? Your long-term goal, exactly.
Long-term health insurance?
Yeah. You have really long-term goals in this Dharma. It's
Yeah.
really important to cultivate long-term goals. And in that sense, that just acceptance that you'll be in another form of life and you need to look after yourself in that form of life. It's a really important way to come at your meditation on things like this, that you're kind of doing it, because it's crucial to this Dharma.
I have a
401k for future life.
I have a question to follow Christina's question.
Yes.
Follows hers. So Milarepa gave the advice to see disturbance in your mind the same as the Dharmakaya. So how can you see anger as it's arising as emptiness, or the emptiness of anger?
This talk with the wa. Jetsun mele, kondro rangi semla langya chuku yimba tonya lafcha nangdwa. Kondro ya langya kasi chuku yinse chuku yimba. Tomso de kandi yore, gomso kandi yore. Jetsun mele ke lafcha yore. Kondro Lola, Shayondu. How did he put it again?
He said-
arising in the mind of anger, I see it as the Dharmakaya, is that
He
it?
said that his recommendation was that your disturbing thoughts are no other than the Dharmakaya. That was-
Again? Disturbing
Disturbing thoughts are no other than the Dharmakaya.
thoughts. The Dharmakaya, right? It's not Dharmakaya, right? The Chuku Yer Memories.
The essence